Baruch Hashem, Gimel Tishrei Tafshin Pei Dalid. Today is the 35th day in the limud of the Hemshech and Daf Hayom of Samach Vov. So yesterday on Rosh Hashanah we started the Maamar Yad'Ativ, which we're going to start again today Al Kapanim B'Ktsara to get up to Amud Samach Tes, which is today's Amud. The Maamar Vayemer Hashem Lech Lecha concluded with discussing how Ratzin and Tainug are both Etzem, and sometimes Ratzin is Malbush Tainug, and sometimes Tainug is Malbush and Ratzin. We'll continue discussing this in today's Amudim in the Maamar Yad'Ativ. Again, the first Amud will do Al Kapanim fast, and then we'll Mirz Hashem move on with today's Amud and the Amud Samach Tes. Ki Yad'Ativ l'man asher yitzav es bonav es beis ha'achra v'shamru derech havaya chulu tirgem unklos Ki Yad'Ativ. What does Ki Yad'Ativ mean? Are they glik hadami bedil di yifkat? It's revealed before me that he will command. Mefarish Yad'Ativ lashon yediyah, that he will know. V'ikshar Rashi zad lefi zetiv tevas leman ein le pirush. It says Ki Yad'Ativ asher yitzav. That's what the unklos is metagim. The word leman, because that asher yitzav is because. That Ki Yad'Ativ is because asher yitzav. It doesn't have an explanation. Mefarish Ki Yad'Ativ lashon chiba. I like him, Laman Asher Yitzav, B'shvil because Asher Yitzav. Tzarich love in the Be'emes L'Viyatagum, Tivus Laman in Le'Pirish Klal. Taket, what that doesn't have a pshat. Ve'ech Mefarish Ki Yad'Ativ Lashon Yediyah, L'chayre doesn't stim with the pasuk. Kam Tzarich love in the Firish Hatagum and Firish Rashi. They both explain Yediyah differently. Shemefarishim Lashon Yediyah v'Lashon Chiba, knowing and loving. Ma'u Hefesh B'nei Berochnis. What and spiritually is the difference between Ma'u Inen Chiba? What's the idea of Chiba loving? Loving calls that tzarich la'aktim mashin is bar le'il be'in and ratzin v'tainug. We said in the end of last Maamar that ratzin v'tainug shneim b'chinas etzem. Will and pleasure are both etzem. They're both levels that are in the inner core of the being. Shav madrigas, and they're equal. V'lachein mischaf, and sometimes they switch over. L'famim tainug pinimi v'l'famim ratzin pinimi. U'mashem mischaf, and this that they switch over is zerak mispashtu shalem, the way they spread out. In the way they are be'etzem, they never enclose one in another. You can have will without pleasure, because with the etzem, one does not force the other. It's still not settled. The etzem of ratzin and etzem do not go one another. Why, when they externalize, are they mislavish? What's the question? We find this Rakech Sanefesh. Shemiskalim Mislavish Mizek, Makech Chachma Bina, Chachma Mislavish Bina, the Bina Makabel Chachma, Vanish Nakudus Chachma Mislavish Bina. Chachma goes into Bina, so we see there is a Slavish of one Kaich and another. B'tchila Chachma Klu Bina, and in the beginning the Chachma includes the Bina. Shu Inyan Havin B'Chachma, the idea of the Bina that exists in Chachma before it externalizes. And this we could talk about for a long time. It's Baruch and the Maamar Renat. V'oid Chazoin L'moyed. But sheyesh v'nekudas ha'chachma shetucha level de'asagoy debina. Hagam shu heibech etzem ha'nekudas ha'chachma, even though it's the opposite. K'moy ken bina klula mechachma. Bina is included in chachma. V'unin chachem bevina. In bina there's a level of chachma as well. K'moy ken amidas mekabel ma'bina. You have the midas coming from bina. V'yesh eskalos amidas bebina. K'moy ken amidas klum zemazeh. With it, so you have the moichin and midas, the midas and moichin, the moichin between themselves, and now we're going to see how the midas are between themselves. There's chesed combining with gvura, they're enclosed one with another. You give chesed because of the inyan of gvura. Other Maamar. Hearing and seeing, one is combined with the other. Here we see a mashal kind of in a different oifen, but the same idea that when one koyach is lacking, the other koyach realizes and feels it. Al yedei with one koyach lacking, misgaber koyach acher, the second koyach, the next koyach becomes stronger. Yedua, the koiches elu, k'mo shem koiches klolim etzem hanefesh, shem uvdalim zavazeh. So chesed, gvura, chachma, bina, all these koiches, the way they are in etzem hanefesh are totally separated. When they spread out, when they're revealed, they clothe one with another. Canal, as we just explained. So what we're saying here is that this idea of hiskalus one with another is not the chidush by Ratzin and by Tanuk and Ratzin. So once they become kech pnimim and they're clothed in the body, doesn't matter. So have a shackle hiskalus him zeh v'shemal b'shem zeh. So one, the kech become pnimim, or it's because they're enclosed in a keli. Daf the kasher and stop from the kelim doesn't become kech pnimim, only then their inner koiches naser miskalus they become combined one with another. The k'moikin have been Rabach couldn't do 248 mitzvahs, which are Amach, even the Malka, the 248 limbs of the king. Because one is enclosed in the other. So when you're doing one, you're not mechuyev to do the other because there's one affects the other. So doing one mitzvah affects the other one. When they're already oiros, only once they're Ratzin is already enclosed, which means mitzad themselves, their tak is separate. Only once they're, I guess, limited or already moved down into a level of Evarim, then it's shaykh to say this. Varaylas, and the proof is mashkatzim v'zayir she'omar ayanuka l'rab Yehuda, l'rab Yitzchak v'rab Yehuda. Chamina, I can smell bereicha the levushaycha in the smell of your clothes. The lekaris in krishma. You didn't say krishma. So why didn't they say krishma? They're busy with a mitzvah during the krishma. But you could smell it. Makif is higher than in the level of Avarim. They were pater. They draw down the Hamshach of Krishma through Achnasas Kala. But Yeshlemer, that's how the way they're already combined one with another. But not at the level of Makif, of surrounding. So we see in the level of Makif, there's no level of Eskalabus, which is why they have to do it. If Yishlam delays the Torah, B'chinas Tzira Adam Elyon, which God's of Zayt Torah Adam, L'chein Nemes Al B'yah Torah, it's Mitzvah Butter. And because Torah is a Tzira of the Adam Elyon, the Tzira of Adam Elyon is the way it's Taka Evarim already. The mail over there, it's Taka, this Indian is for real, where it's Mitzvah Butter and a Mitzvah, because it's already talking about Mitzvahs and not even of Eskalabus. In Cain, they are, their whole being is surrounding. If there's no scholars the way they are, what's Shaykh scholars from Makifin? Makifin is not the way they are separately. When they enclose or they swap out, which one is the Iker? So it depends. It matters what's etzem and what's ispashtos. Ima etzem watainu, then the ispashtos is beratzin, and vice versa. They ain't a move on. Now it's a simple question. If they're both etzem, and the way they are, they're pshutim, why will sometimes one be over the other and the other one be the mispashet? So we have number one, the chayre, the halad of iskalus is only shaykh by when they're premium. Here they're makif be'etzem. By makif we said by mitzvah it's not shaykh. Also, why is one going to be etzem over the other? Over chlolos ain't move on. The ba'achashin is barlel that tanik veratzin echadem. We said they're both one. The shneimim b'chinas etzem, they're both a level of etzem. Inkein ma shaykh be'etzem be'ezin yonim the oinik veratzin. What is a shaykh and etzem that two in yonim? Does that shaykh rak b'koiches? When you have koiches, which is already not the etzem, it's the way the etzem expresses itself through various powers or various characteristics. There's beis minei koiches. Aval be'etzem, the way you are by yourself at your being, ain't a shaykh beis minei etzem. The etzem echadu. Etzem is one. V'yesh lachtim tchila, we have to first give akadama. Sometimes pleasure is pnimis. Lifam meratzim pnimis. Im kol zeh anu roim, we see sheyesh yisroin koyach umayla l'ratzin ala tainug. There's still an extra koyach of ratzin over tainug. Liyesh anu roim, we see sheyesh koyach gadol l'ratzin v'na oinek. Will, power is stronger than pleasure. Your willpower could swap over something which is painful to pleasure, and from pleasure to pain, and from pain to pleasure. Pleasure does not have a ruler, cannot rule over the will. You cannot switch something from doesn't want to want. You cannot have pleasure to change it. You don't want it. They're vilnished. You want and you love seichel. You only want to have divrei seichel mitzad kedusha. So your tainug is channeled in one way. Something which is against and opposite of elikus. Something which can negatively affect the kedusha. Even if you know they're very smart and very deep, the pleasure, their geschmack will not help. The idea that you want haskalas. Your will does not change because of your pleasure. The mikamokim you do not want to have these seichel. You're not going to change from something you want to not want. And what you really want in your etzem, you're never going to change. The inner will is never going to change. You're going to sink into many physical pleasures. Mela through these physical pleasures, you're very distant from Elikus. Your etzem will not change them. It's at a time from times it will be revealed. The low of the low, when you're happy, you want to get close to people that fear God. And you speak you speak about good and fear and closeness to God. And I guess it's like about Farbrengen, where anybody gets awakened and close to the Eibishter. It's not that you're suddenly a liar. There's a will. At other times, it's very concealed. Your inner will, many waters of which it's referring to over here. Their abundance of physical pleasures. The Mashiach comes, that those that are lost in the land of Asher will come. Now what's Eretz Asher? The Hainu, the Yedu Eretz Asher, it's many physical pleasures. You're lost in these pleasures. It's as if you're lost in these physical pleasures of the lands of Asher. When the big shofar will blow, also those lost in the land of Asher will come bow down to the Eibishter. The essence of your will also exists now, and that's what you're going to return. So before we continue, Al Kapanim, see over here that Tainug cannot overpower Ratzin. Ratzin, what you want will never go away, and what you don't want will never be changed, even because of the Tainug. V'lachein zed, this idea of this Ratzin to come back to Lukus has been Hashem Yisrael Dafka. V'neshavhev Dafka yesh b'chinas Ratzin v'skashas atzid debanim at Hashem Lekechem. Only Gidden have this idea of children to the Eibishter. The previous Maamar we just finished. Asher Ratzin hazeh einay nebet chas v'shalom, never gets lost. Ve'einay mishtan and it will never change. V'agam de la'asid az hebech el'amim kul el'amim likr kulam. The l'chayr of is going to turn to all the nations. Uchsiv v'naro elav kol ha'goyim. All the goyim are going to come back to the Eibishter. V'chamakim yadua de lo yushavim l'Yisrael. They will not be equal at the same level of the Yidden. Because of shishim heim ha'malchus u'shmoinim pilakshim. 60 of kings and 80 of the Pilakshim. Tisam Medeshaba, the Koi al Umas Oilam. By al Achra Birushi Karu Malchus Pilakshim, that they're going to be considered king and Pilakshim, the Umas Oilam, they're going to be there. But Mikal Mokaim Achas Yenasi, it's one is your Nasi, the dove of the Knet Neshamas Yisrael, Shemuvdalim Mechalakim Gam Lasin Mekal Umas Oilam, that they are big, they are divided and separated from the Yidden. What creates this division? Like we just said, because of the will of the Yidden to be connected to the Eibishter, Shazel Neshamas Yisrael Dafka, which they can awaken this Ratzin because Banim Atem Chulu. Vashkatzamach Macher, B'inyan Keser Malchus. Shazeh Shaloy Hoya. La'afshar, lahamon, litain, gam la'achar, she's barer, mishum nebchina zu, einoi nimtza behem klal. The Keser Malchus, Haman couldn't give to Mordechai because this level of Keser Malchus isn't shaykh behem at all. I think what he's saying over here is that we know in the Megillah, Haman said, when Achashverosh asked Haman what to do to Leish Asher Chavetz B'Karei, right? So Haman said Yavilu Vush Malchus for Keser Malchus, but we don't see that he gave him the Keser Malchus because this Keser Malchus is only shaykh by Yidden, and Haman couldn't have given to him either, even after Haman's birur where he was serving Mordechai. It's not shaykh to give it over to the Yidden. I think that's pshat. This draw of Yavir Levush Malchus, der Tzi, Shemitzat Etzem Nekudas HaRatzin, Einei Nimtza Ki'im B'Neshamas Yisrael. B'china Zu, this Tzi, this draw, Telekus, Einei Nichba, it's never put out, Einei Mishtana, never changes L'Olam. Gam B'Riba Tanigim Agashbim, Einei Mishtana Chas Shom HaRatzin Hazeh. So we see in the summary of these two Pirushim, of these two examples, Sha'Tainug Ein L'Shlita Al HaRatzin L'Shanesi L'Hafchei. Tainug cannot change over Ratzin at all. So Ratzin, on the other hand, the Ratzin could switch over pleasure to tzar to pleasure. If you want something, it's a lot of tzar. It's a pleasure. Going in a kalta mikveh. You accept upon yourselves different tortures or sigufim on your own will. These tortures will be lo'ine gadol. The Chachamim allowed a time is cholim b'Shabbos for someone to fast. Time is cholim on Shabbos because on Shabbos nishul lo'ine gloy becomes a pleasure for him. If you are disgusted with pleasures, even something very expensive and very beloved, again, because the Ratzin overpowers your tainug. The tzaddikim gemurim are disgusted and they do not want kol tanugim betach samiyus v'ashikut zagamri. They're fully, totally disgusted from all pleasures. Like it says in Tanya, in the beginning of Tanya. Yeah, very good, he says. Elo shabtzad the gomor. It's not necessarily through Ratzin. Zel de av tanugim shalem. Shal de zel moisbera. Very good. But either way, this is an example for the idea where Ratzin can overpower Tanuk. Because of your great love to the if you love one thing, you must hate the other thing. Right? Switches over. Tanugim is when you switch over the mayim, the level of Tanug in the Nefesh Amis. Sharad and Hashabamis nepach is Tev Gamuk Meitzer Tev Mamish. Aval Asaras Abgadim Atzoyim, removing the dirty clothes. That Limois Moed Betanug El Mazeh Zel de Aval Verotzin, because Rotzin switches it over. Omnak Moekim and Urayim. So this is by Baal Tshuva where you see it's through Aval. But Baal Tshuva Amiti Shiyimas B'chal Tanug Magufnim B'chinas Mamush B'chinas Miyas Mamush also discussed himself from the bodily pleasures. V'kabel kol tzar v'siguf l'oinig mamash. You would like take any pain and torture for pleasure, because he wants to do real tshuva, and he's willing to do anything that it takes to accomplish the real tshuva. Pleasure could also make you be disgusted from other pleasures. Where the tzaddik of Av Tanugim has the sinura through tainug of zelu mazeh. So that's why you feel how the ra is bad. Yeah, the Mems call Tanugim Gashmim Psil Tanug Elliot. All Tanugim Gashmim are only the leftovers or the dirt left out, excrements maybe of the eternal pleasure, of the pleasure from the Eibishter. And be'emes they're really mius because they're psoilus. All tables are filled with disgusting drek. The kol shulchanis is zivchem eitzim tanugim agashmim. The shulchanis of a desire or karbanis of dead people are physical pleasures, and then kitzay be'emes, they're be'emes like that. They're drek. That's when you realize that they're bad on themselves, but that's from understanding the Tanug of Elikus. You realize what the real Tanug is. And when you understand the real Tanug, you see how all the other Tanugim Gashmim are fake news, fake Tanug. The real pleasure of the Eibishter, all other Tanugim are nisbatlo. Frata tanugim hagashmim, specifically physical tanugim. Shem mechines mias be'etzem, they're be'etzem, disgusting. Farei b'chol tanug shem gil dvar oine godly yisrael. Every pleasure, when you get to a higher pleasure, nisbat le'ed condition, you don't appreciate the previous pleasure anymore. Av ba'al tshuva, but a ba'al tshuva ein zeh mitad mipnei she'etzem hadavar mos etzem mitad atzmoi mitad hergesh oine gvilakos. It's not because the Tanugim Gashmi are actually disgusted by him, or because he feels the Tanug of Holocaust. Only because his will to return to the Eibishter be'emes, the token for tzonei and the strength of your will, is mekura, to be close, ubatel, and nullified la'Hashem. Not because of the pleasure, so here we see our ratzon, which is in the etzem, is higher than the oinig. And halideza nasim etzakol tanugim agashmim mos legamre, they become disgusted in ganzen. Rak mitzad haratzon, the will lelikus. Loishen mu'utzim etzem mitzad hergesh elikus. So we see over here a few ways how ratzon overpowers tainug. And we'll discuss this idea more tomorrow, and continue more in the mashal here of the tzaddik gomer.